Luka Doncic is having a spectacular season this year, confirming that the Dallas Mavericks made a great decision by signing him nearly 6 years ago. And at just 24 years old, he's showing just how much potential he has for the rest of his career. It's now safe to say that he's one of the greatest basketball players ever produced by Europe, with his size alone granting him a dominating presence on the court. However, Luka's not one to favor brawn over brains. He displays impeccable basketball IQ and has emerged as an unparalleled facilitator in the NBA, breaking countless records in the 2023-2024 season, and cementing his place as a critical cog in the Mavericks machine. So let's wind the clock back to 2018 when he made his way into the NBA a few months after his 19th birthday. He came in with a ton of momentum from the years he spent playing with Real Madrid, especially after he became the youngest person to ever be named EuroLeague MVP, not to mention his selection for the 2010-2020 EuroLeague All-Decade team. He'd made a name for himself, and that name traveled across the Atlantic, attracting the attention of a bunch of NBA managers who wanted to snap up this European hotshot fast. The moment of truth came when the Atlanta Hawks selected Doncic as their third pick, but they ended up trading him with the Mavericks for Trae Young. And just like that, Dallas was finally able to fill the Dirk Nowitzki shaped hole in his heart. Sure, he hadn't retired just then, but everyone knew he was playing his final season, and the Mavericks needed someone with star power to get them through the post-Dirk era. The prospect of a newly forged European import playing alongside arguably the greatest European to join the NBA was tempting, to say the least. Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle didn't even think it was possible at first. As soon as the chance opened up, Carlisle jumped on the opportunity and planned to have Luka partner up with another recent addition, Dennis Smith Jr., who was in his sophomore year in the NBA. And boy did the kid deliver on his promise. He made his debut against the Suns, and despite his team losing by 21 points, he scored 10 on his own, which must have made up for the disappointment of losing his very first match. Luka was only getting started, following it up by scoring 26 points in just his second NBA game and helping the Mavericks record a win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. In doing so, he became the youngest player in Mavericks history to score 20 points in a game, adding yet another notch to his already impressive belt. The aggressive style of play shown by the Mavericks revealed the chemistry between their two young point guards and gave Dallas fans a ray of hope in an otherwise bleak future they were looking at once Dirk was gone. This was just the tip of the iceberg, by the way. Luka ended up breaking a lot of records in his debut season, including becoming the first teen player to score a 30-point triple-double, as well as the youngest to record 3 triple-doubles after helping the Mavericks defeat the Hornets. He ended up averaging 21.2 points per game, along with 7.8 rebounds and 6 assists on average. This series of stunning performances proved that Luka was worthy of the Mavericks jersey and then some, and led to him being named the 2019 Rookie of the Year. He received 98 of the 100 votes cast for the number 1 spot, and fittingly enough, he beat out the guy he was traded for, Trae Young, who got the remaining 2 votes. That's about as comprehensive of a victory as you can get, but Luka was still just getting started. He had a legacy to forge, and his next few years with the Mavericks cemented his place as the most important player on the team. But he also stood out as an individual player, and he was honored for his unique talents multiple times. After his many victories in 2019, he started the next season with a bang by becoming the youngest NBA player to score 2 35-point triple-doubles in a row. Only 3 other players have achieved this since 1984, namely Michael Jordan, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, and Luka managed to do it at a much younger age. The fact that his name was being mentioned alongside his airness and other GOATs of the game was no accident. It was a testament to the sheer skill he brought to the table, combining his towering 6'7" frame with no shortage of smarts and carving out a space for himself in basketball history like few have done before. However, there was one accomplishment that remained out of his grasp during his debut season. He had a real shot at playing the 2019 All-Stars game, and the only player that got more fan votes than him was literally King James himself. But despite that, he didn't get the spot. Of course, Luka's never down and out for long. You see, he managed to square this achievement away in the very next season. Luka's name was already in the record books alongside NBA all-time greats, and he was going toe-to-toe with the likes of LeBron James, with both players registering 19 assists that year. As if that wasn't enough, he broke MJ's multi-decade spanning record of the most consecutive games with 20 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, and he wasn't even old enough to drink yet. The kid clearly had something special, a secret sauce if you will, and when the time came to pick the NBA All-Star team for the Western Conference, there was no way Luka would get passed up again. Not only did he get selected for the team, he made history yet again as the youngest European starter in an All-Star game. You get where I'm going with this, right? Luka has a reputation for doing things seasoned NBA veterans would dream of at an age when most guys are finding increasingly creative ways to avoid doing their homework. And it's easy to see how he's setting himself up for greatness. Some might even say he's already as great as he can be, but I feel like he still has a long way to go. If he truly wants to take Dirk Nowitzki's place as the shining light for the Mavericks, he needs to guide them to an NBA title win. So far, the Mavs have only won the NBA title once, back in the 2010-2011 season, and Dirk was essential to their success. He won the MVP award in the NBA Finals that year and considerably reduced the hurt that Dallas had been feeling ever since they lost to Miami in 2006. So this is something Luka needs to live up to. He's in his 6th season with the Mavs as of 2024, and his team has made the playoffs 3 times since he joined. They got pretty close to recording their second NBA title in 2021 to 2022. But they lost in the conference finals to the Warriors, and they didn't even make the playoffs in the following season. To put it plainly, the only way he'll measure up to Dirk Nowitzki is by leading his team to another NBA title. Don't get me wrong, Luka's more than justified the decision to trade Young for him back in 2018, and he's either equaled or surpassed Nowitzki in terms of individual records for the most part. Up until Luka's arrival, Dirk was the only Mavs player to score 50 points in more than one game. But now that record has been broken, and when he scored over 40 points in 23 consecutive games by New Year's Eve, he dethroned Mark Aguirre, which is something even Nowitzki couldn't do. Outside of this comparison, Luka is the only NBA player so far to score over 250 points and record over 50 rebounds and 50 assists over a 5-game stretch. The kid is showing no signs of slowing down, and if he somehow manages to win the Mavs an NBA title or at least help them get to the finals, his legacy will be set in stone. But what do you think? Is Luka Doncic a worthy successor to Dirk Nowitzki? I'd love to get to hear your thoughts, but that's all for now. See you in the next one.